Welcome back to the latest episode of the Key and Mang Audio Experience. I'm your host, Mang. As always, I'm with my fellow co-host, Key. Key, what's good?
What's up, man? How are you?
I am good. Preparing for another winter storm right now, but other than that, good. How are you?
It's snowing here too, like a little bit, a
But you
little,
are you
little bit.
projected to get 2 feet, 2 to 3 feet in the next 3 days?
No, but I wouldn't mind because they'll probably close work.
Close work here. We going.
Probably close work. I'll be happy. But no, I'm good.
Look,
Just
look.
chilling.
I really hope it don't get that much, but that's a story for another time. I'll keep you updated with how that goes. But this episode, it's holiday season. It's December as we're recording this. People are in a given mood. So we each decided to pick a podcast episode that resonated with us and that will bring value to your life and how it could be the momentum that you need to start now and not wait till 2023 to turn a new leaf and get the ball rolling. You could take action on some stuff right now. So Key, what was the episode that you wanted to highlight?
The episode I wanted to highlight was an episode off of Art of Coaching by Brett Bartholomew. I think I said his name right. It's called Things Your Future Self Will Thank You For, episode 244. I really like this episode because I listened to it recently, so that's why it was like top of mind. But also, there was certain things that I took away from it that either I genuinely believe in or things I'm trying to work on now. So he said, learn how to take criticism, but don't ignore it. And he said, basically, everyone is not going to like you, and that's okay. But when you're building a brand, you want to have people who don't like you and then people who really are a fan of you. So you're going to always have that kind of split, which is okay. But you want to think as if you're on your deathbed and you're surrounded by the people that mean the most to you and the people you love most. And when you're in that situation, you're not really thinking about the bad criticism that you got, like the 1-star reviews you got, like the people that comment under your Twitter post that don't have a profile picture, have like just the egg. You're not gonna remember those people. So um, don't worry about that criticism. Just kind of keep being you and putting your stuff out there, and just know that you are gonna get some criticism. Just gotta know which ones to um, take constructive criticism from and which ones to just kind of brush off. And I think that that's something that I got better at because I get triggered when I post stuff on social media and people say things to me. I'm like, you don't know what you talking about. Like, this is what I said, and I'm not clarifying. Like, you know how I always say I could tweet the sky is blue, and somebody's like, oh, what about at night? It's not blue. I hate stuff like that. But I'm learning to accept that, and um, I think that this last year, like I kind of gained people who actually like the message I'm putting out and people who don't like the message I'm putting out. Like I have a couple of people in my head that I know if I tweet something, I can expect them to respond with something totally disagree with me, which is fine. Um, Next thing he said was when you're asking for advice, always provide context because at least in my, I guess, industry and fitness, people always ask like, "Oh, what's the best exercise for this?" or "What's the best exercise for that?" without providing any context, and then you give them like a logical answer. Like for example, somebody's like, "The best exercise is to run," and they're like, "Oh, but I don't like running." Like, okay, then don't do it if you don't like it. So when you're asking for advice, always provide context and also always provide insight into what you like because that's gonna like help somebody tailor the answer for you as opposed to them just giving you a broad answer and then you can't do anything with that information. So always provide more context when you're asking for advice and um bouncing off that point when it comes to like asking questions, be able to kind of weave through like the stuff that doesn't apply to your situation. Like there's stuff on social media that you see out there that's giving you certain advice around certain topics. And if you're not able to like decipher that information and apply it to your life, you're not ever gonna make progress. So um, always be able to kind of like see through that and be able to tie it back to something you're able to do consistently, because that's the only way you're going to be able to make some sort of progress. And then another thing from that episode that I liked was he said to constantly seek ways to improve your social skills. And he kind of set a bar. He was like, people skills are power skills. And I think that is so true, because you have to learn how to talk to people and how to deal with people in whatever setting you're in, whatever business you're in, whether you're a business owner, whether you're just a employee. Like, it's always going to require you to be good with people, especially if you want to be successful. And he said everything is sales, because if you think about it, in our profession as physical therapists, you have to sell to your patient, whether you're an insurance base or somebody that just takes cash. You have to sell to your patient to continue coming to physical therapy. If you don't sell them and have them buying, they're not going to come. You don't have a patient, you don't make money. So that's sales. And then even from a point of like other professions, if you're a teacher, you're still selling. Like, yes, kids are mandated to go to school, but in order for kids to be engaged and for them to get something out of the education system, you have to sell to them that what you're teaching is important and is beneficial to them. So whatever you're doing, you're always selling, whether or not you know it. So I thought that was cool, because I used to run away from like selling, and now I'm just like all for it, because like I know I need to develop the skill to be successful at my 9 to 5 and also as a business owner. I think everybody should listen to that episode.
I got questions for you on each of those points. You talked about how you could be triggered in the past. Triggered. That was a good one. That was a good one. But
I get triggered.
I know you get triggered. That's why it was funny that you said it, because I was thinking back to earlier in the year, some of the stuff that you get mad about. One of the two things that you did to help you be able to accept more criticism or ignore the out of context tweets or responses that you were getting. How did you develop that? What things did you actively do to get better at that?
I don't think I actively did anything besides the fact of like just accepting it. Like, I can't, like, I literally cannot do anything about that. I just realized that like the climate we live in now, like everybody wants you to give so much context to everything. And I honestly don't think it's possible. So I just accept it, and I try not to go back and forth with people for too long. I still do, but I'm just like, whatever. I don't let it get me as upset. I don't think I actively did anything to accept it. I think I'm just like, it is what it is.
So I got a hypothetical for you then. Let's say you tweet your what was your tweet that went viral? What was the tweet that went viral?
Oh, I was like, if you go to a physical therapist who doesn't lift, it's like taking driving lessons from someone who has never drove before.
Yeah. So if you was to post that again, and that gets blasted the way it gets blasted again, how are you responding to it? Because I remember how you approached it last time.
I'm gonna respond to it the same way. I'm gonna do the same thing, because that's genuinely what I believe. I think that I'm not saying that you have to be a physical therapist and lift, which I think you should. But what I was saying is that if you are going to a physical therapist for a lifting problem, then you should go to a physical therapist who does that. That's all I was saying. So I would just reiterate my point. And I think I would tweet it the same way, because that's the target audience I'm in. I don't think I would do anything differently. I probably wouldn't have responded to that stupid Physiogram page though, because they were kind of.
I wasn't talking about I was talking about the response, like how you would respond to it if it went viral again. Like, would you take some time to respond to comments again?
No, or I would just put my explanation under the tweet, and that's it. And then if it happens again, I'll tell them to listen to my podcast and plug on my stuff. I think that's what I will do. But yeah, that's how they got me tight. At first it was okay, but the people were taking it out of context. They were like, oh, if you have only one hand, you can't help people with two. I'm like, that's not what we're talking about. You know that. Like, people, they was getting me tight.
That's why I asked.
definitely took that out of context, but whatever.
And then speaking of context, you in your second point of like doing what you like, you mentioned being able to provide more context. Were you talking about in a when you're providing information online or when you're like in person or both situations?
Just from the sense, like I think people go to like Facebook groups and Instagram, social media, and ask general questions, which get general answers because you're not giving any context into what you like or like what exactly you're talking about. I think that providing more context to your question allows people to give you a more sound answer as opposed to an answer that doesn't really help you out.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. And then last one for seeking ways to improve your social skills. For the people who do not like to converse or like to socialize or feel like they're awkward or maybe just don't like to interact with people too much, but you know it's important, you know it's something that you got to do. What would you say to help someone improve their social skills? What kind of tips would you give to improve their social skills?
I would say if you feel like you're awkward and you don't have good social skills in person, I would say start online. Yes, that's a way to, that's not a real, like, real life situation, but it still makes you more comfortable with like reaching out to people who you don't know. Um, and just developing a conversation there. And then while you're doing that, I would like as you're interacting with people, use like the dictation on your phone so that you sound more like yourself. So like you're still getting in like the reps of like finding your voice. And you don't sound like a robot. And then in person, I would say take advantage of the opportunities where you have to talk to people. Like if you're at the grocery store and you are cashing out, you're going to talk to the cashier. Like you can ask them like, "Oh, how's your day?" Or like just ask them a random question, and that's not putting you in an awkward situation where you're like coming out of nowhere and like walking up to somebody and saying something totally random. You know, you're already like having to interact with that person, and I think that'll make you feel more comfortable with interacting with people.
I like that. I like that. It's small deposits over time, starting whether it's using your voice, not dictation to talk, create conversations online, or simple little things that people you're gonna have to talk to, whether you're at the grocery store, um, just little things to like build like legit find out just how people are doing and work on your communication skills. And I think also just like by learning how to listen, you can kind of ask follow-up questions based on what people are saying, and then just people just go off on
Mm-hmm.
tangents and their own thing, and you just asking one to two things based on what they said, and you just can keep it covered. You don't got to say too much. You just got to kind of listen to what they're saying and ask the right questions. So I was curious about what your thoughts were on that. But I liked that episode. I think you sent me that episode. I think I was listening to that while I was traveling. So I it's definitely one I got to go back to and listen to again and take some notes on.
Yeah, I like I told you before, I want to find a way to, well, I already have a way. I just want to utilize it more, but a way to keep track of like all the podcasts I listen to throughout the year or articles I read. Cause like times like this when it comes to like wanting to do an episode to put people on the episodes and or podcasts that they can get value out of. I think there's like so many I've listened to, but I can't like remember exactly what was said in what episode. So like finding a way to create a database of these podcasts with the main takeaways is something I want to work on for 2023.
I think that's a good idea. I think it's something that we both could we both could take some time to do, and I think it'll help us moving forward a lot. Just to take the time to not try and rush through everything and listen to as many podcasts as you can, but trying to take the time to sit and reflect and look at what you took away from it, how you can apply it, and then have it as something that you can go back to if you're have questions about a certain thing and you remember listening to something on this episode of the Art of Coaching or School of Greatness or whatever it may be, and then going back and trying to find that specific point.
Exactly. Speaking of episodes. What was your episode that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, you like that, huh? Your little plug into mine, huh?
Yeah.
Uh, I picked the School of Greatness episode 1340, 28 ways to reprogram your mind and become rich with Alex Hermosi. Alex Hermosi, I think Carl mentioned Alex Hermosi. I don't know if it's on Twitter or something, but he was like Alex Hermosi is a genius, and he is like one of the co-founders of acquisition.com, where they help business owners make like $100 million businesses and then they sell them. And so like he teaches people how to make more money, and then he like buys them from them so he can make even more money. So dude's pretty good, and he's been all over the place, him and Layla, and he's been on my feed a lot more. So came across this episode, and they were talking about how it's easier to solve problems inversely. So they're talking about how humans are naturally better at finding threats versus like being grateful. Like it's easier to find a problem versus being grateful for the situations that you're in. So you're reverse engineering your thought process here. So with this, they were like, if you were a business owner, think about how you would destroy your business. So that's the problem, and how you do it in the fewest amounts of steps possible. So then once you figure out how you're going to destroy your business, you make sure that you don't do those things in your business, and those become your staples for your business. So the example that they used was like email marketing, and like if you were an email marketer, how would you destroy it really fast? And he was like, I wouldn't send emails. I would treat my team like crap. Like basic stuff, and then have everyone like on different pages. And so then he was like, so my staples would be, I would send emails all the time. I make sure my team's on the same page, and I make sure I treat my team good because they're the ones that's going to help me be able to scale it. So he's taking the opposite of the problem and turning it into flagships in his business to make sure that he follows those core values, or the business owner follows the core values. So then they dive into 28 habits or traits that are going to keep you poor, and then for each one you just do the opposite to help build your profits. So a couple of them were like, start tomorrow. You know how we always like, start today, you don't have to wait till 2023 or whatever. So like, start tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be here. So if you just wait the next day, then you'll keep, that's going to keep you poor. So you start today, you start putting in your deposits now to build up over time. Read books and do nothing. So you could read all the books and then not apply anything at all. So, so it's kind of like what we were just talking about with this podcasting. Like you could listen to all the podcasts, but if you don't do anything with it, then you're not going to do anything. And it's simple stuff. Like it was 28 of these things, simple things like this, just doing the opposite of what a poor person would do, or poor habits, or poor things that people would do, and just doing the opposite to work your way to building financial wealth. So that was my episode.
Yeah, I listened to that episode too because I think you sent it to me. And I thought it was funny the way he was going through each one. But it's really it's a real thing, like to work from things inversely, because I think it gives you a better blueprint onto how to achieve something. Like people always talk about reverse engineering their goals. And it really works. Have you done anything where like recently where you had to reverse engineer something?
I think about it more from mostly in work.
Yeah.
And like talk about someone who comes in like, hey, I'm not able to do this, I want to get back to running. So I'm like, all right, what do you need to run? And you need strength, and then you need to have single leg strength, and then you need to be able to jump, and then you need to be able to hop. And so I kind of work back to it that way. And then you got to, like grade your volumes and make sure that you're building up to the volume that and you can handle it. And then so with work, reverse engineer that way. And then with myself, kind of just I'll do this with um thinking about for moving and getting my way out of Alaska. It's what do I need to make sure that I'm ready for when that time comes? It's okay, I want a certain amount saved for when I have to put a down payment on an apartment or a house. And then um gotta know the location I want to be at. I gotta know what I want to do for job, and think of all the things that of where I want to be, and then how am I going to get there. So that's kind of been, and every decision that I make moving forward is trying to get me closer to that end goal. So that's a couple of instances of where I use reverse engineering. Something I didn't used to do before, but something I think is really helpful if you take the time to do it.
I think it is very helpful and it brings you clarity because if you know the exact steps you need to do to get somewhere, it just makes it easier to just like check off those boxes as
Mhm.
opposed to being like, oh, I want to make $50,000 in a year for my business. Like, how are you getting there? Like, I think it decreases the amount of overwhelm you have and gives you more peace of mind to know that if I do these exact steps, if I hit these targets, I'll get there, and it kind of makes it feel more achievable.
Mhm. Agreed. Agreed. I got a question for you though.
What?
You ready?
I'm scared. No.
Uh, all right. You're a business owner. You got your own business. How would you destroy your business in the fewest amount of steps possible?
Um, don't respond to my clients. Don't post any workouts. Don't show up on social media. Completely go ghost. Um, and probably say something outrageous to get canceled. Nah, I'm not big enough yet for that. But those are my three ways. I think not showing up, not answering questions or messages, like not tending to my clients. I think those two will have me destroy my business.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think I've built a roster of clients by showing up day in and day out, like on social media. So I think if I stop doing that, I probably won't. If I stop doing that, I probably won't lose my clients, but I probably won't gain any more either. I won't grow my business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably the thing of just showing up on social, being consistent with showing up is what gets eyes on you and people know what you bring to the table. And then they see the Charlie memes, they see your axe throwing, they see your top golf swing, like then they're like, oh, he's not great at top golf. That's
I'm like,
okay.
she's athletic as fuck. Let me sign up with her.
She needs to work on her golf swing, but
I got a question for you. How would you destroy this podcast?
not record episodes. Not record episodes, not prepare for them, say whatever. I mean, I kind of do say whatever. Maybe not say whatever, but not prepare, not record.
I
Those
agree. I agree. Give give an example of a way that a way to reprogram your mind and become rich based off of the format that Alex Hermosi did in the episode. The one that wasn't said. So he gave 28 ways, give the 29th.
ooh, ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I would
I don't have an
say,
answer.
uh, look, wow, you don't have an answer?
No, I don't. If you would ask me this, I would be stumped.
Okay, all right. I don't see. I should have like wrote down what his points were, what all of them were. But let's say I would say if I just had to, I would say listen to the people that are telling you not to chase your dreams, because then if they're feeding you this image that you can't accomplish what you want to accomplish, then you're gonna believe it. And everyone has a gift, and if your gift is being squashed by some outside people, then or maybe it's even close people, then you're not able to share your gift with the world. So that's what I would say.
I like that. That was a hard question. I'm sorry. I don't even remember what he said in all of his 28 ways. I just thought it was cool to think about something like that.
Yeah, definitely put me on the spot.
That's all I got. I don't have any more questions on that one.
Yeah, next time you'll have to answer. You got the number 30.
Number 30.
Huh?
I don't have one right now.
Yeah, I said next time.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to do that now. No. I got you. I'll think of one by today.
Okay.
We'll add it in the show notes.
And if anyone else has an opposite, I don't know, number 30, number 31 way to reprogram your mind to become rich, let us know. Leave a review, leave a comment, share it on Instagram, and let's see if we can add to this list when you listen to this episode. But we'll catch y'all on the next episode of the Key Audio Experience.
Peace.
Peace.